Hello everyone, I welcome you all to my Swayam course titled Comics and Graphic Novels in Indian Context. This week, which is week 1, we are dealing with Introduction to Visual Narratives in Print. Today's lecture, that is lecture 5, will be focused on Anirudh Sen Gupta's magazine Comics in India, which was published by Mark Publications in 2015. You can find this magazine, which is volume 66, number 2, even online. I am giving you an introduction. Now you must be thinking why I am giving you an introduction to Mark Publications. Mark Publications happens to be one of the most literary, aesthetic and academic magazines which can be read by academicians all across the world to read about India's material culture, India's visual culture, and amidst the series that they have been bringing out, they have also brought out one of the very important and very crucial and very relevant series on visual cultures of India, where it deals with, where one of the sections, where one of the volumes also deal with the comics publications, especially in India. Now, the introduction, which is written by Anirudh Sen Gupta himself, who is also a very self-acclaimed, very popular graphic novelist himself, he says that varying names from comics to sequential art to graphic novels have been given to this form. So people, as I said, people have certain biases, people have certain prejudices in dealing with the, in kind of categorizing this form, which is a mix of visual and verbal literature, visual culture and verbal literature. Some of them prefer to call it, justify calling it a graphic novel when it becomes more serious in order to trying to segregate it from the low art that is of comics. Some of them try to just say, no, this is not even comics or graphic novels, but this is a visual narrative of some sort, which can also be called as sequential art because it follows a sequence of pictures which kinds of depicts a kind of narrative. So it depends on the readers, on what they prefer to call it, what they are trying to call it. And there has been immense politics, as we discussed in our previous lectures, ranging right from Gillian Rose's seminal text Visual Methodologies to Will Eisner and Scott McCloud in our previous lecture, where they said that how comic book form was emerging, to other articles that we read from Gordon, of Baton's, that how graphic novel form and comics form is emerging in India. So this very magazine focuses on the politics of several kinds of comic book production, because as we know that comics, we tend to think that comics are only Superman comics, Batman comics, or if we come to Indian context, then we try to relate comics to Raj comics or maybe Diamond comics. But there are, what Anirudh Sen Gupta is trying to say in this magazine, that there are also so many other kinds of comics culture that is existing in India that we need to identify, that we need to experiment with, and that we need to familiarize with the audience. So he says, subject matter of these visual stories range from fiction to non-fiction to guidebook to journalistic work to academic research, poetry and drama. So there are so many kinds of visual stories which are being told through this comic book in the form of, there can be fictional stories, there can be, as I said, documentary stories, biographical stories, there can be kind of guidebook stories, there can be journalism, as we see it in the through very famous graphic novels like Moss, as we kind of try to see through Palestine. So all these graphic novels are trying to resituate history, are trying to bring back the history, are trying to maybe talk about some very important issue that is happening in the world in contemporary days. So many kinds of disciplines are being explored through the medium of comics and graphic novels. Finally, he says, we are a country with a rich, strong tradition of telling stories through images, ranging from temples, caves, saris, home walls, bark of trees, plates of copper, dried palm leaves. Visuality pervades everywhere. So, for example, not only Aniruddha Sen Gupta, who situates that India is a country which has a diverse kind of visual cultures, which has diversity. So, there are artworks on stitching when it comes to saris, there are artworks on palm leaves, there are artwork on temple caves. So almost every kind of material has so many kinds of visual arts that are specific to it. And Sumati Ramaswamy also says that India has, Sumati Ramaswamy is another critic who has written about the visual culture in India, and she says that we are living, this is the visual turn that our country has taken, and this visual turn was taken with the advancement of print in our country. When the printing press was introduced by the Britishers in our country, then the print industry, the visuals took altogether a different turn, took altogether a different direction, where everything in India, right from the calendar, right from the pamphlets, right from the comic book arts to wall graffitis, everything was, people wanted to see everything in the visual form. So the visual culture seemed to have taken over the mindset of the, or visual culture seemed to have driven the entire Indian society. So you see, there are different kinds of comics, as we discussed in our last class when I was discussing about Scott McCloud, that a simple newspaper comic strip can also be called a comic book. So for example, on the top right corner, you see this one. You see this 4-paneled comic strip. 4-panel comic strip is also a comic book because, first of all, it follows a linearity, it has a sequence of images, and it gives you a storyline from beginning, middle, and end, so that people can follow what is happening and conclude and come to a conclusion that what has happened when the comic strip has ended. So again, a comic book can also be in the type of pamphlets, because pamphlets also give a kind of story. They produce an image and then they give a write-up what the image means about. So there is also linearity, there is also a sequencing that happens in any kind of brochures, in any kind of pamphlets which are inundated with a visual image and verbal form. Then again, graphic novel is another kind of comic book form, as well as you can say a simple cartoon that appears in our newspapers every day is also a kind of comic book, because a single cartoon, even though it is not a multi-panel cartoon, it is trying to communicate a story. It is trying to give you an understanding of socio-political affairs, what is happening in the country, what is happening in society. And by being able to tell you what is happening in a country, a cartoon also becomes a part of the comic books, because it is explaining you a story in which has a linear fashion. Now, what are some of the simple forms of visual narrative? Films, animations, comics, television, puppetry all offers visuality through different medium. However, print visuals with creative and effective images capture attention of the readers easily and quickly than the text or other time-based genres medium. So what it means to say that visual narratives, as we have seen, and while we were discussing from our previous lectures also, the 4 lectures that we did this week, that there are multiple kinds of what we also delved upon for some time upon the politics of films, upon the why, because how are films different, how is the visuality produced through moving or motion pictures different from that of the visuality produced through print media. So obviously it says that Aniruddha Sen Gupta, he portrays that, or he tries to communicate that print visuals with creative and effective image capture attention of readers easily and quickly, because they are there in front of the readers for a longer span of time. They are not scene based, they do not move quickly. A reader has full time, a reader has very detailed time to delve upon an image, to make an opinion out of it very comfortably, when compared with the visuals produced in other medium, which are very time based or which disappear after some time. For example, you can also see the story, the WhatsApp stories, the Instagram story, even though they are visuals, but if the stories, when you produce them in the stories format, they are also time based, that they disappear after 24 hours. So once you recollect those stories, if you want to talk about those stories to somebody, you only talk about them in the words of recollection or by memorizing it, because the visual is not there in front of you anymore. But this is not the case with print medium. For example, a travel brochure with beautiful and aesthetic images of travel destination will convince the traveler for a longer time than a brief advertisement which will vanish from the screen. Print visuality has depth and stays longer with the viewer than any other digital, textual or oral mediums. The ability of print visuality to reproduce the same narratives in different packaging by appealing viewers of different generation helps it stay alive even years after its creation. So another factor that makes print all the more advantageous is that once the print is outdated, once the pages cannot be accessed anymore, they can reproduce, they can be photocopied in a new form altogether, yet presenting the same storyline to a different audience in different years. Thus, print visuality offers itself to an afterlife also, which is not possible with other visual forms. You would say that why television serials or maybe films can also be watched after a point of time. But when television serials or films are being watched after a point of time, they are not borrowing or they are not fetching same amount of money, similar amount of money. For example, if Mughal-e-Azam that was produced long back ago is now reproduced in today's time, obviously the people who are interested in watching the film will go, but it will not be able to gather that kind of audience which it gathered earlier. But this is not the case with the books. The books which were very popular earlier, if they are redrafted and reproduced and repackaged in a different packaging, will continue to attract same kind of readers, will continue because of its popularity. It is this intersectionality of how new audiences interact with old images, art and iconography that gives space for novel and experimental understanding of those images. There is certainly something lost and gained artistically in this process of renewal. So this is very important points that Sen Gupta highlights here, that the intersectionality of new audience, the way in which the old form is repackaged, the old narrative is being reproduced, the old narrative is being sold out in the new form, thus trying to converge the two sets of things, one old and one new together. So when art is trying to re-explore itself, when it is being interpreted by multiple audience who belong to multiple ages, who belong to multiple centuries, who are centuries apart from each other, when inferred by diverse set of audience, the art gains something and art loses something, because art is interpreted differently in different times. For example, a photo on Holocaust, for example, a photo on partition of India would have a different kind of repercussion and would have a different kind of reaction from the people when it had just happened in 1947 than when we look back at the partition photos today, because then we are trying to imagine what would have happened. But if we are living in that reality, we know that what is happening. So there is always a kind of gap when we try to interpret same set of photos in different time periods or in different backgrounds.
Before I move towards the closing of this lecture, I would like to give you a brief insight into the divisions that Sen Gupta has done in this particular editorial volume of comics. He has divided the articles very particularly into three sections titled as past and present, which is the first section, and then the second section is titled as the acts of creation, and the third section, which is the final section, is called as the comics in life. So the idea behind division of making such divisions in this volume was to delve into to draw a trajectory of how comics has evolved from the first piece, which has been written by Jeremy Stoll. Jeremy Stoll gives, being an American who has done his PhD on comics culture in India, he actually he gives about an outsider's insight into the Indian visual comics culture, that how comics is developing, and how I quote him, he says that it is a culture of passionate storytellers committed to excellent stories. So he looks at the comics as a way of being able to tell those stories which cannot be communicated, or which are very difficult to be communicated in any other form because of the emotional weight they carry. For example, just like the moss, and or for the violence they will do if being depicted or represented in some other form, and how this particular genre of comics becomes thus a solution, a kind of a way paving the way towards expressing such kind of subdued traumatic experiences which could not be told in otherwise forms. We also have an article in this particular section by Vidyan Sabane's article, where she deals with the Patachitra school painting of Bengal, and as well as Togalu Gombeyata leather puppetry from Karnataka. And by mixing the two, she is trying to look at, I quote, vivid landscape, and her piece also delves into the fresh, often hybrid seedlings that are being planted in the ancient soil. So, how various art and crafts, how various art forms, how various kinds of artisans are coming together to form in or to contribute in the comics culture, how puppetry also tends to contribute, or how puppets themselves, the designing, the very designing, the very coloring, the very costumes they wear itself can be garnered as some sort of cartoon comic character, because they do appear and they do appeal to the students, and how they can be incorporated in the studies of the comics. Then the second section, which is titled as the acts of creation, we have an article by Arijit Sen, and we are going to study his River of Stories graphic novel, which is hailed as the first graphic novel from India. And in this particular article, which has been written by Orijit, he tells about his acts of creation very much, that how was he able to draw, what was the motivation, where did he get the material for drawing the River of Stories, because as we know that River of Stories is an environmental graphic novel and is based on the stories that were floating during the Narmada Bachao Andolan in the 1990s. So how and where, what encouragement, what inspiration, how was he so selective, how did he become so selective, and kind of what was the idea behind segregation of including something and then excluding another thing, how did the totality of experiences that he experienced in the Narmada Valley went on to be represented in the graphic novel form. So the entire politics of what is visualized, what is not visualized, or what goes into the making of a graphic novel is discussed in this very article. Then we have Amrita Patil's piece article also, which is titled as The City of Ninth Art, where she's talking about the collaborative experiences in graphic novel, where the author and the illustrator come together. And it is so important for the author and illustrator to be on the same page, because the story cannot progress if either of the two do not agree with the ideas of each other. And whatever the writer has written and whatever the illustrator has to communicate through the medium of visuals has to be very much in accordance with with the ideas, with the narrative that goes on in the mind of both of these author and the illustrator. Then we also have an article in the very same section by Rajesh Devraj, who actually works on the ads, televisions, and film scripts, that is motion media. But he has also written comics titled as Sudarshan, which is also called as Chimpanzee, focusing on how images travel from one medium to another and what is the politics, what are the changes that happen when a comic book is later on adapted as a television series or showcased as a film. So this is the politics, which is again discussed by Rajesh Devraj in his article. And in the final section of this volume, which is actually called as Comics in Life, we have an article by Vivek Mendezes where he is discussing the importance of comics in the life of his own children, where the manga and graphic novels of Gautam Buddha played a very important and seminal role in the upbringing of his children, and his children were so inspired by the life, by the manga graphic biography of Buddha, that they wanted to read more and more about Buddha. So this is how this became a very life-changing experience for his children, where they were motivated, and that he did not had to take much effort in implementing those kind of life stories that Buddha had to impart, but that Buddha had to tell to his readers. So they were all getting very automatically, very conveniently communicated to the readers. So this gives you a brief idea about, though there are a few other articles, but then I would like to request you to get a volume of this comics in India, which is very much helpful for budding comic book scholars or comic studies scholars in India. And I hope that you will find very much relevant material which may be of interest to you in this particular volume.
Emergence of comics form in diverse form. Indian comics as the continuation of age-old forms of visual narrative such as Patachitra and other indigenous art forms. So here Anirudh Sengupta, the editor of the magazine, he throws light upon several other kinds of comics and graphic novels, because as readers of print form in visuality, reading print in visuality, we tend to limit our knowledge only with comics and graphic novels. But what Sengupta tries to highlight here, that comics is much more than the produced package form that is sold out, but there are also other kinds of comics which are simultaneously existing in India. For example, the art forms, the comic book forms which are there in, like Patachitra art. There are art forms like, so he reflects upon diverse indigenous art form. So what is Patachitra art form? We have a section later on that we'll be delving upon indigenous art forms in India, but just to give you, because I've mentioned here, just to give you a brief idea about what is Patachitra. So Patachitra art is something where it is an art which is drawn on the scroll. So there is a scroll which is unfolding itself, a long scroll, and there is no written narrative that follows it, but the singers, the illustrators who are making, they sing the narrative. So the narrative becomes not in the written form, but the narrative of Patachitra art is in the verbal form. It is spoken, it is sung. So while the artists are making the pictures, the singers are also singing the story. So it is a kind of performance. Patachitra art is a kind of performance. It is not a comic book, it is not a very stereotypical comic book form that, which we understand generally. There are also other kinds of comics culture that exist. For example, there is underground comics. Now, what is underground comic? Underground comics are the comics which which are celebrated, which are drawn by the activists, which are drawn by the NGO people, which are drawn by the social workers in order to raise the social consciousness, in order to raise the awareness, in order to make the local public, especially living in the rural and remote places, making them aware about their rights, making them aware about the hygiene, making them aware about normal day-to-day affairs, that what comics can do, obviously literary normal typical written novel cannot do, because there are too many people in India who are illiterate and they cannot read. So in such a situation, visuals comes as rescue. You can teach these people who have become very old, who don't want to study anymore, and who will relate only when they see visuals. So underground comics, the name itself, why was the name underground given? Because obviously these are the people who are have-nots of the society, who do not even have a basic amenities for living, who do not have clean drinking water, who do not have proper clothes to live, who do not get education. So that is why, in order to kind of fit the suitability of the term, that this is for the people who are not visible, who are rarely visible, or whom we tend to oversee easily. So they are the people who are kind of residing underground, and that is why the term comes underground comics. Now, he also says that raising interest in children about comics. So comics, there is another comics culture which is apart from the comics, apart from the fictional comic stories that the comics are producing, there are another set of comic book illustrators, comics illustrators, who are trying to raise interest in the children. For example, events like Comic Con or comic fest like events. So here a practitioner comes who tries to impart the knowledge of how to create comics books. So this is also a part of the comics culture. How to draw comics are also the comics which are emerging in India, that how to do it, how to books are also kind of, they should also be read, and they should also be, for example, just like the book of Will Eisner and Scott McCloud that existed in the international context. In India, there are also illustrators and there are also artists who are trying to teach the art of writing comics and what is the right way of making comics. Comics for national and global issues, as I said, that when we'll be doing various kinds of comic books, when we will be reading them, we will see, for example, comic books, Amar Chitakatha series, for example, other comic books including Delhi Calm, This Side, That Side. These are the kind of comic books and graphic novels which are trying to raise awareness in the national citizens and make them more dutiful, or in a way trying to make them aware about the history of their own country through the comic book format. Intersectionality of comics with other forms, art galleries, films, etc. So we should also, apart from studying the hardcore comic book as a product in itself, we should also see how the comic books is being experimented even after its production, how the similar comic books is now being transported to the art gallery, and how the same comic book is now being transported to films, how these comic books are being adapted in the form of films, because there are so many web series, there are so many television shows on Chacha Chaudhary, which was there. The Diamond Comics came up with the character of Chacha Chaudhary, but what is the politics when the comic books is adapted in a different genre? What is the politics? So how does the storyline change? How does the viewership change? What is the difference that a comic book and a television series will have from one another? So these are the things that need to be studied further. And with this, I would like to end my week 1 lectures, and we'll see you in the week 2 lectures. Thank you.